Okay, it's time to finish up this hole once and for all. The runners are ready to go. I fixed them since the last video. The solution that I came up with chopping them half and gluing them back together the other way, I thought it was gonna be terrible, but it was so quick and easy and it worked so well. I was kind of shocked. I honestly thought the most likely outcome of that was that I was gonna waste several hours trying to get it to work, fail, and have to go just buy a thicker material and start over. But it worked like a charm. So the runners are all shaped, they're ready to go. I just have to figure out now one more little thing before I can start screwing them into place. I had this all figured out and ready to go before I realized my huge mistake last time. This is the material I've used for the runners. This is the plywood of the bottom of the hull. I need to figure out exactly how far to countersink so that I can drill all the way through this and into the plywood without going through it. I did that before, but now I need to flip this down flat, use a shorter screw and different countersink. That'll work, I guess. I know a lot of you guys have opinions on what's the smarter way to do this, and that's totally fine. If you guys want to build a boat, you can screw your runners in however you please. But I'm gonna follow the plans. Perfect. One runner down, 3 to go. I'm gonna fillet all the edges with the extra epoxy. That's how you say it, right? Every time I say that, my brain is like, no, it's fillet. I'm pretty sure it's fillet though. I'm gonna try sort of a icing a cake method. The runners are looking so good. Imagine that, after dragging my feet on something for weeks and weeks, it took one day and it looks great. Weird. I'm so glad I flipped them over because they just look so much less like they're about to snap off at any moment now. Once I have the runners done, I can paint. And that's exciting because paint, but also because paint is the very last, actual last thing that I need to do on the hull before the boat is ready to be flipped over. I say that with like sort of an asterisk because as of right now the trailer is not ready, so even once the boat's totally ready, I'm still not gonna be able to flip it until the trailer's ready. And I'm not sure right now how much of an ordeal that's gonna be. But anyway, once paint is done, the hull is officially done. Once I finish the runners for real, I can paint. And I just have a couple of things left until the runners are totally done. I need to kind of round the edges a little bit, which I decided to do after I put them on instead of before. But I want the epoxy to set up more before I do that, so I don't mess up all my fillets. So in the meantime, I'm going scouting for the last piece of the equation, which is thin little strips of aluminum, which are gonna be like the top layer of the runners. I don't know where to get that, or like what I should be looking for. I don't think I can just buy 17-foot long, 1-inch wide strips of aluminum or whatever. I'm gonna have to, I think, like cut something up or repurpose something, but I don't even know what I'm looking for to repurpose. So I'm just gonna go to Home Depot and wander the aisles and see what I find that looks like it'll work. Okay, that was a slight bust, but not really because I hit the jackpot of Home Depot employees. It's always such a roulette because sometimes they're so knowledgeable and helpful and sometimes they know about as much as I do. But this guy was trying to help me find something that would work. When I told him what I was doing, he said that a lot of people use plastic for that and that there's a store here in town that has the type of plastic that I would need. So I'm gonna look into that before I buy anything here. But if that's a bust, then I think I found a couple of options that I could work with. Hopefully that pans out because that would be really awesome. But either way, this is probably where I leave the project until tomorrow. Bless that guy at Home Depot. I just got the plastic. He cut it down to the exact width I needed, gave me all the length I needed, plus threw in some extra, and it was only $25. I am winning today. Okay, so I need to wait for my epoxy coat that I did on the runners to cure. In the meantime, I should probably try to work on my trailer. Okay, that's gonna work.
All of the stories have been told. Secret places hidden well. Gonna know as far as I can tell.
Sad news. I'm somehow short one piece of plastic, and the store closed half an hour ago. But that's okay. I'm just gonna clean up here. I'm gonna plan to go in first thing when they open tomorrow, and then tomorrow's gonna be paint day, finally. It's probably a good thing I wasn't able to finish the plastic last night, because once I finished this one this morning, I realized that I had done a terrible job with the other three. Like, it's not even trying to stick. So I'm gonna redo these, I guess. Okay, so I just decided to cover a couple more of my bases before I just do that whole process over again, and it turns out the adhesive I'm using doesn't stick to that specific type of plastic that I have. So I'm gonna have to figure out what kind of adhesive does and get my hands on it. Okay. Now I'm realizing why everything was going so suspiciously well. The plastic only cost $25, but the glue that will stick to it costs $20 for a tiny little thing. Can I even paint it? No. Okay. This feels exceptionally frustrating because I don't know if you'll remember, but when I first bought the plans, I was so excited having a big project that was just kind of straightforward, you know? Some days I feel like I'm doing just as much trial and error and figuring out what to use for this or that as I did when I was building the bus and I had no plans and I was just making everything up as I went. So, I don't know. I think I'm gonna just go back to aluminum, but I still don't know where to get the aluminum or really exactly what I'm even looking for. I don't know. I'm just finding it very easy to get frustrated right now because I just really want to flip this over. A week from today, I'm gonna flip this over, and like I just need to get it flipped over so I'm working on the top and so I can get excited about it again. It's like, I feel like I was like, ooh, I finished the hole, and then it's just nothing's happened. I don't know. I just really want to get it flipped over, so feeling discouraged, but just gotta keep working on it, I guess. Alright, well this is not ideal. I think it's probably thinner than what I'm supposed to use. And I'm gonna have way more joints than I want with this short of pieces, but it's what I could find. No. These are useless. I don't know why they seemed thicker before it was cut up. I might as well not even bother. Maybe if I layer it? I don't even know how thick it's supposed to be. Okay. Long story short, I went through about a dozen different options of what I could do for the metal. All of them led nowhere. And I was about to make some kind of bad decision based on impatience and frustration, so we're moving on. I'm doing things out of order and I'm gonna paint. Probably gonna kick myself later, but I gotta do something satisfying or I will lose my mind. Why is it always easier to solve a problem once you don't care about it anymore? I just got all the metal that I need, all the aluminum. It's already in the strips. The reason I didn't do this in the first place is because when I was first trying to like gather information on what was available and what I should get, when I look at these just like flat strips of aluminum, it would say only like 2 in stock. So I just would move on. But once I exhausted all my other avenues, I should have come back to this one earlier, but after I finished priming today, I sat down at my computer and just opened up all my tabs and mapped out a plan to go to every hardware store in town until I had enough, and now I've got it. So after all that, what a massive amount of time and money I've wasted trying to save myself some time and money. Oh, what else is new? We are back in business. Any ideas on what I should do with these strips of tin foil that I thought I was going to be using? It's finally paint day! This has been such a long time coming. I think I first declared I have a hole in January or February, and it's now June. So I've got a coat of primer down already. It's really highlighting some flaws, but that's to be expected. I made the decision when I was sanding the whole thing after the fiberglass not to try to get a perfectly smooth finish, just to save myself the hours of sanding and recoating and more sanding, only to find myself probably still without a smooth finish. I'm just gonna embrace the imperfections here. So I tried to get the sides mostly smooth, and I tried to get the bottom kind of smooth-ish. Who cares? It's the bottom of the boat. As for the color, I think one of the reasons that I've been so eager to paint is because up until this point I've just been following the plans, or at least trying to. So the paint color is the first time that I'm going to be making a decision for myself on this boat build. As you might expect, I had a color picked out before I ever bought the plans for this boat. When it came time to actually buy the paint, I started looking into all the different options for how I was gonna get the exact shade that I was envisioning, and pretty quickly discovered that marine paint doesn't come in a whole lot of different shades. I think you can get a custom tinted marine paint, but it's not really a very easily accessible option. And just as I was starting to plan how many cans of what color I needed to buy to mix my own custom color, I managed to stop myself. I realized that I was just setting myself up for more headaches on a project that, as we know, is already so far above my skill level that it's more headache than anything else already. And from past experience, I know that once this is done, I'm gonna care about the tiny little differences in the shade way less than I do right now. So I decided to just buy the closest color to what I had in mind. And I'm so glad I did, because I cracked it open yesterday and gave it a little stir. And I think it's actually gonna be perfect.
Do you feel fine? Don't need an answer, just need a sign. I'm feeling bad, I'm feeling good. Feeling like I never could. Wait for me, I'm almost there. Soon we're floating in the air.
This is just the Rust-Oleum paint. I think it's just called bright red. Oh, I really need some sweet tea right now. I'm having a real hankering. I think it's a combination of, well, it's hot. It's in the 80s today and yesterday for I think the first time all year. But also I was in an intense sweet tea phase when I painted the bus, and this paint smells exactly like the bus paint. So I know what my reward is gonna be. I actually feel like I'm dying. It's so hot. I don't know how I'm gonna build when it's real summer. Still needs another coat, maybe even 2 more coats, but the color is perfect. I was worried it was gonna be like slightly a brownish red, and what I wanted was just bright red, just a red Crayola crayon, and I think it's perfect. Alright, well the boat is painted. The trailer is not done, but I have a plan and I approved it with Gordo through FaceTime. So next time you guys see a boat video, this thing's getting flipped over. And we're starting on the house part of this houseboat.